And tonight on The Wrap, should sexual orientation be protected against discrimination the way race is? A new poll has some surprising results. Also, judges hearing oral arguments today on lifting a temporary hold on the president's amnesty plan. And are voters buying Hillary Clinton's Everyday American Act? We'll discuss all of that, plus yay or nay and potluck. This is The Daily Wrap, live from New York City. And joining me tonight, as usual, is SiriusXM host, Forbes.com columnist, a man who has won a Lifetime Achievement Award 3 times. My co-host.
From who?
Rick Unger.
The American Cattlemen's Association?
That was one of them, and we'll go over the other 2 in potluck. She is a power attorney from Philadelphia, but she's really America's pundit. Heather Hansen, in purple, is back. And finally, she hosts Close Encounter, and you don't. Lisa Janovich joins us once again, looking good, like the glasses, well done. Let's get right to the Daily Download. So an interesting poll released by Bloomberg today looking at American attitudes on a variety of issues, but the answer to the one question stood out from the rest, a question about gay rights. Here we go. In general, do you think sexual orientation should or should not be protected from discrimination the same way race is protected? And the results might surprise a couple of you. 74%, 3 in 5, saying that sexual orientation should be protected, while only about 1 in 5, 18%, say it should not, 8%, they're just not quite sure. Equally interesting, respondents were asked their opinion on how long it will take gay marriage to become legal in 50 states. 26%, 1 in 4, believe it will be legal in all states in 5 years, while an equal amount believe it will never be legal. Guys, are you surprised by these results, Lisa?
Yes, actually, I would have thought that it would have been higher, that more people, given how the trend is going, and I think there's, 37 states where gay marriage is legal.
The Supreme Court could
and the Supreme Court. How could
that
amount of people feel that it will never happen?
It's because they don't know that there's a case in the Supreme Court.
Right,
How
they're
do
not
you not
aware.
know that?
And they're, it depends on how sheltered you
where
are.
this poll
I
is
would
you
go
are.
even one step further. I would say 26% of all Americans don't even know there's a Supreme Court.
Sadly, I'm not even going to laugh at that because it's probably
That's
true.
pretty-
Right,
Yeah,
really?
that's
There's
pretty bad.
actually a bunch of judges? That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I thought that number, Heather Hansen, would be more like 50, 60% as far as it will be the law to
The
land.
second number.
The
Right.
first number.
Oh, the first number.
Yeah, law to land
First
within
number.
5 years, because the momentum has been so great, and I thought that American attitudes had changed so much about gay marriage that just the train was so much that you would at least have a majority, but it's only 1 in 4.
Well, I agree, but I mean, look at some of the people who are running for president who aren't willing to say that it's going to happen soon. So I do think that there is a strong part of our population that still thinks it's not going to happen. Or I think they're deluded, but I think that they still think it's not going to happen. And I think that, the Supreme Court made a decision on purpose not to make this ruling back when they decided it before. I think they wanted the states to come to this conclusion on their own, and they wanted people to sort of come to this conclusion on their own. And for the most part, they have. And now I think people are going to have to jump on the train because that decision, I think, is coming.
You brought up states' rights. Who do you think will be the last state to ratify?
Well, I don't know that it's going to go that way. I actually agree with what Heather just said, which is that the Supreme Court is going to basically tell every state that they have to do this, so it'll all happen basically at the same time. What I find interesting about the first part of the poll, look, we've seen this movie before. In reality, we never should have needed special laws to protect race. Just like we shouldn't need special laws to protect sexual orientation, because equal protection under the Constitution, as it's provided, should clearly cover it.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't need any more. Sadly, we apparently do need to. So,
What I think,
Lisa.
The other thing is about this poll that's surprising is the majority of Americans are in favor, support gay marriage. That's why it's also surprising to see that people support it, but still don't see it as happening.
Yeah.
You know what I
maybe
think?
Within 5 years.
maybe that because there's older people on the Supreme Court, that the ones that do know one exists, say, well, these guys are out of touch and they'll never ratify it anytime soon.
I think
You know
they
what I
just don't
think
know.
happened?
I really don't.
I think when George W. Bush, 10 years ago, proposed a constitutional amendment to make gay marriage illegal, he then caused this huge swing around where people came forward, people came out. We were talking about this earlier. Now you know someone who's gay. Now you can personalize it a little bit better. They got into groups and really argued it a little bit better. And I think that has been a big part of the reason that public perception has changed.
You know, it's just like you conservatives, always blaming George W. Bush.
No, I think it was something he did not intend.
It's true.
For sure.
Heather brings up a point about when you personalize the issue. In other words, if you present somebody who's anti-gay marriage, and they just speak generally, then they stay that way. When they meet somebody within their family or a good friend, suddenly the attitude changes.
And absolutely, I know. I have to say for myself, that's what turned me around. Not recently, but over the past 10 years. And I was saying, I'm not sure if the definition of marriage should be changed or not. But when I started knowing more people who said, why shouldn't I be allowed to get married, or I love this, it totally changed it. And there was a study that came out recently in Science magazine. It was done by two professors from Columbia University, and I don't have the other college that's there.
We believe you.
It was from a university?
But it was a university. But they went
From a
around
university.
canvassing people, and the canvassers either said that they were gay or that they had a loved one who wanted to get married. They went back to these people that they canvassed 3 days later, and there was a tremendous increase in support of gay marriage because they were able to personalize it,
Right.
gave a face to the concept.
It makes a big
And
difference.
this social policy issue is one that is big on everyone's minds, and the conservatives do get killed on it because but it's interesting to me that no one's afraid to ask that question. The media asks it almost every time you've got somebody on, but you talk about another social policy issue, abortion, which is also in the courts and but no one's ever asked. You never hear Democrats, Rand Paul maybe, but you never hear Hillary Clinton being asked what her position is on abortion, and that is a much more difficult issue.
That's true, but I think it's presumed, which is kind of silly.
Well,
isn't it?
because I think we need to start exploring, because there's different laws coming out. I mean, in D.C., you now have spas where people can go to get abortions. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that I think that if you're going to ask these social policy issues of one side, you should ask other issues of the other side.
Well,
Can you believe
Go ahead.
that it was, just to get back to the political aspect for a moment, the 2008 election, who was against gay marriage?
Yeah.
Barack Obama.
Hillary
Hillary
Clinton.
Clinton,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And the momentum, the shift that has happened just over the last couple of years, quickly, because we were under a minute. What was the defining moment that changed the
You just sensed
180?
it, I think, don't you think?
The
You
number
just
of people
sensed it.
coming out.
The
I think it's the
momentum,
number of
momentum
people
of what was
coming out.
happening across
I
the
think what
country.
happened with Rob Portman, Senator Portman, and when he discovered that his son was gay, and the way he handled it, which was brilliantly, Cheney was kind of before that,
Yeah.
but yes. But I think this really laid the groundwork for people, okay, it's time.
Yep. And my personal theory is the two guys from Modern Family.
Yeah.
Seriously,
That's
they
probably
mainstreamed
very
it. It's
fair.
the number one
Yeah.
show in the country.
Everybody loves them.
And everybody loves them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anyway, coming up next is the president's immigration amnesty policy on ice. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.